Welcome to Speed Scene Live TV, the only show dedicated to the sportsman racer. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, Hedman Hustler Headers, M&H Tires, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFoat.com. With your hosts, Diana-Mite, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, Alex Rogio, Bob Beck, Bryant Layton, with Donnie Couch and Dar Hawthorne.
All right, pop quiz. What were the last words I said before we went on the air just now? Was it something to do with "let me turn it up"? Yeah, that's the kind of show we got. I'm Bruce Barker. There's Diana-Mite. And Lucky Hudson.
Yeah, I thought your last words were...
Is that a word?
Popcorn.
Yeah. There's Hot Rod Bob Beck.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, man, we have got a show for you tonight, starting with some great footage from Nitro America. Les Mayhew, you rock. Tonight, the Geezer Gasser is going to be talking with us about their great race series with authentic, period-correct gassers. You've probably seen a bit about this in the past on Speed Scene Live. We're going to delve in. We're diving in with both hands. There, I just mixed up 9 cliches in a row. They put on a great show, these guys do, and they're now sponsored by Haggerty Insurance, which just happens to be one of my favorite insurance companies as well.
Well, absolutely. And speaking of Haggerty Insurance, what happens when you wreck your race rig? Boy, can you put enough rah?
Really?
And trailer and your race car gets wrecked as well. You know, we're going to talk about that tonight, and you're going to find out. You're going to see some great pictures.
Icky poo.
Oh, yeah. Now, also hear about all the nostalgia A-Fuel John Shoemaker Memorial Shootout that's going to take place at the NHRA Divisional July 18th through the 20th. That's this weekend at Sonoma Raceway. Jerry Cumray will be talking with us all about it. We've got a big off-road show coming up later this month with Brian Layton and Charlene Bowers with Bowers Media.
That's right. Brian Layton will be live in studio, and we're going to welcome a new contributor to the show, Charlene, and she is involved in a lot of off-road events, always has the inside scoop. Now, Match Race Madness is happening August 23rd at Verona, and we have a couple of great interviews from the last one. Plus, hey, we showed you this great DVD. Come on down, watch some great heads-up racing, and possibly get on the next DVD. Want to do some racing? Contact Joe Sherman, and you can talk to him about setting up a match race between your car and someone else. Hey, Drag Illustrated has the best magazine around, and if you've not seen the magazine, go online, just Google Drag Illustrated magazine, check it out, really nice. Check out my column, the Curry Sportsman Spotlight, and heck, why not just subscribe and get this beautiful, beautiful, high-quality, high-gloss magazine delivered to you all the time.
And every Tuesday night, well, we've got Bob Beck in studio. He gives us a little gas. He gives you a lot of gas.
Yeah.
And Bob, what's on your plate tonight?
Well, you know, Moon Equipment has been around for decades, and the legend continues on.
What kind of equipment?
Moon, you know.
Moon, like up in the space shuttle?
Isn't that when you drop your pants
about?
when somebody drives by?
Well, that's the equipment I've been using the moon with for years.
We can always try that, too. Of course, you might get a little breeze and all over the place. But anyway, Moon Equipment, they are the purveyors of one of their specialties is those spun aluminum tanks.
Oh, yeah.
The legend continues on with Shige and Chico, and we're going to talk about that because they had their annual open house to coincide with the Collector Car Appreciation Day this past weekend.
Where was that at?
Well, it was all over, but we went to Santa Fe Springs to the Moon Eyes headquarters, where they're using the same building that Dean Moon started with, and they've made it fabulous. They've got it updated. It is great. They keep the business going alive, and it was chock-packed. The streets were crowded with people.
And what are they selling in this picture right here? I'd like to know.
A lot of goodwill.
Yeah, that tank that young lady's resting her hand on.
The tank, right?
I don't think it's her hand.
Well, you know, people complain that when guys talk to her, they didn't look at her eyes. So those are moon eyes all over that bikini.
Yeah.
And Chico and Shige have recreated the material for the old Moon Eyes
You know,
Floating.
Bob, I don't
Yes.
think there's another brand out there as iconic as Moon Eyes. You know, it's been around forever. It has so much history, so many different vehicles associated, and it has transformed itself from an icon of the 50s to being something that's so relevant and so popular today that every time they have one of these events that you cover
Yeah.
or the Moon Eyes Christmas party, the place is just packed. And it's not just SoCal. They are an international sensation.
You know, they are. Last year, I got the opportunity to go to their Japanese car show in Yokohama. 22 years of custom and rod car shows going on in Yokohama. The place
Amazing.
was jam-packed, a one-day show, and it was overflow in the parking lot as well as
Wow.
inside the building. And I guess we've got Chico on the line with us right now to tell us all about the U.S. operations and a little bit about Moon Eyes.
We do. Let's go to line 1 and welcome Chico. Chico, welcome to Speed Scene Live.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, Chico, how you doing? You recover from this weekend?
Yes, no, it wasn't too bad this year.
Yeah, I mean, the streets were still lined up. There were guys with easy ups all set up down the street. There was a guy with a couple of trailers that they were living in and out of, I guess you could say, during the event. It was great. And then, as always, there were Chico burgers.
Chico
Yeah,
Burgers.
Chico burgers, yes.
What's the story on a Chico Burger? What's special about a Chico Burger? They're made Moon Eyes shaped.
Of course, we cook them ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you've become an expert chef at cooking. You do that both in the Yokohama show and here in L.A.
Yeah, that's my job, I guess.
Yeah, well, we're looking at some shots of the store right now, and we're showing all the great stuff you've got there. I mean, that store is chock full of speed equipment, accessories, dress-up items, and we've got some of the cars that showed up there.
Hey, that's a mean-looking Imperial there.
Isn't it? Now, it's a four-door. A guy cut the roof off and made it into a convertible.
I hope he did
Now-
a little strengthening. Or is that a
No,
full-frame
actually,
car?
that's a full-frame car. I said the same thing to him, and he said, no, that was the last holdout on the Chrysler line that didn't have a unit body.
How about it?
But you had hundreds and hundreds of cars out there this weekend.
Right.
And this is something you do every year. You're doing the open house and some great cars.
Yeah, well, we do that every year, just show our appreciation to all the customers.
Yeah, and you get the buildings are open, so they can walk through the shop, and you still operate the same shop that Dean Moon operated in.
The same machinery, too.
The same machinery, too. Boy, he must have bought good stuff back then. That's unusual for him.
It must have been
Yeah.
American-made.
Yeah.
Yeah, no CNC machines.
No CNC. Yeah, everything. You guys do everything the old-fashioned way, and you've
Right.
and the stuff works. You make some great stuff. You've got cast items. You've got the finned aluminum valve covers. You've got all sorts of things. You still spin the tanks right there at the shop.
Wow, is that right? And Chico, you probably get this all the time. When I was a kid, my first experience with cars was building models, like 90% of the Speed Scene viewers, I'm sure, from Revell and AMT and
Oh,
stuff.
car models, yeah.
Yeah, car models. And well, that's a totally different subject for the
Yeah,
other ones.
yeah,
You mean the
yeah.
ones from the JCPenney catalog?
Yeah.
But, they'd always come with decal kits. And always in those kits were Moon Eyes decals. And at that time, I had no idea what they were talking about. But it's like all these years later, you guys are still knocking it out of the park with this stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing to see all these the same logos for 60-some years. We're selling the same stuff that the Dean used to sell for. When he was in the 50s, he was selling fuel blocks and foot pedals and whatnot. We're still making them out of the same cast, same mold, actually.
Yeah.
Now, Chico, with the resurgence of the rat rods and the street rods and a different attitude about a build your own, do it how you want car instead of having to have a $10,000 paint job and bill it everything. You guys just happen to be in the right place because you sell parts for people that build their own cars, and they know they get good quality stuff, and you just kind of fit right into that niche of the SoCal car culture.
Yes, ever since we took over, it was 92, and the timing, like you said, the timing was right. We had a great help from, media and customers and other manufacturers and whatnot. So, we were in the right place at the right time.
All right, we're going back. We got your sign for your Chico burgers. That is a universal sign. Everyone sees that sign. They want burgers. Now, here was your expert helping staff. It was Shige's daughter, your wife, and I don't remember the lady that has her back to us right now. But they cut up they cut up all the stuff that that they put on the burgers. And how many burgers did you cook up that day? Do you have any idea?
We did 240.
Dang!
Wow. And this is
240 hamburgers and 90 hot dogs.
90 hot dogs, and that was just a little gathering. Now here's some more shots of the shop. You got the fin valve covers, the air cleaners, and some super lamps.
Oh man, that's what that is.
Those are lamps.
Oh, I'm digging it. See, the one in the foreground that looks like a cymbal from a drum set. That is just so cool.
Isn't that one of your hubcaps you guys make? But, I mean, it's just great stuff. Here's the spun aluminum tanks. These are what put Moon on the map, I guess, when he started.
And they never go out of style.
No.
They always look just right on a car.
In fact, I would assume when we're talking with the Geezer Gassers fellas later, we're going to see some of those tanks on a couple of those Gassers.
Probably will, yeah.
So you got to do it. And then, you got to have patches, you got to have stickers, and you've got plenty of that at the shop. You've got a catalog that goes out on a regular basis, and even a Moon Illustrated magazine.
Now, we were at a 4th of July party, and we met one of the racers, Jerry from Purple Rain Racing, and he was displaying his trophy, which was Moon Eyes hubcap that was custom painted.
That's he got that at the Mother's Day show. He had the best ET.
That's right. You remember him, huh?
Right.
You can't forget Purple Rain.
Yeah.
Between Crazy Connie and Jerry. Now here's a shot. Here's a shot. Now many people think of Carroll Shelby being just the father of the Cobra, but what a lot of people don't realize is the first one was built right there in your shop.
Right, yeah. Fred Lassen, who used to work here years, he oversaw everything when they built the very first Cobra here.
Yeah, and that was a 289, actually a 260.
Sure.
Cobra at the time, and there's a picture. This shot has got the highlighted area in the back, little brown sepia color. That is Carroll Shelby watching on as they kind of steel wool the body to get it ready. And I don't remember if they even painted that one. That was just a showpiece. That was an all-aluminum body. You got to remember the AC Ace is what the basis was for the Cobra.
I had no idea that the first Cobra was built in the Moon Equip shop.
Wow.
That is just so cool.
And, he must have got some of the rust from the steel wool on him, because he does have a little rust patina on him right there.
Now, this is just a shot of one of the cars that I had to take a picture of. This thing was so wide. That has more tire. His one tire is wider than 4 of them on my car.
Man, it is.
Those are tires? I thought those were couches.
Oh, man. Donnie's not here right now. But but this was a T-Bucket. There was all sorts of cars. There were FXers. There were Gassers. Ernie, the attorney, was there. We had Paul Solis with his high and mighty Plymouth. There were hot rods, lowriders, customs.
And, of course, your vehicle, your Plymouth.
My Plymouth was there, too. Now, this is a great shot. This is a shot of Chico and Shige standing in front. Shige comes in from Japan for the event. He comes in quite a bit for your whatever events you do here in the U.S. And you reciprocate by going over to Japan and working there, too. Is that correct?
Right, yeah. Especially this year, he's been traveling throughout the world, actually. He just came back from Belgium.
Wow.
And then over here this week, and next week he's going to Sweden.
Wow, really? So he's hitting the whole race season over in Europe.
Right.
Wow, Moon Eyes drag racing in Sweden.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Belgium wasn't it Belgium last year or 2 years ago when Shiggy put the Moon Dragster on 2 wheels?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, and it wasn't the rear wheels.
Oh. Oh. It's a whole nother story.
A whole nother story. But the legend continues on. Moon Eyes, what's to come? What's going to happen next? Anything new?
No, we're just keeping up with everything going. And Christmas show in December.
Yep, Christmas at Irwindale.
Yep.
You'll have the show there, drags, pinup contest, car shows, manufacturers, Midway. I mean, a lot of pinstripers. You have the pinstripe circus going on, and lots of other great things at Irwindale in December. They got to get to your site. What is your website that people can go to, just in case they don't know?
The MoonEyesUSA.com, and they can see everything, all the scheduling and all that stuff too.
All right, so Moon Eyes USA. If you really want to go see something different, go to Moon Eyes Japan and take a look at that site. That's also a huge site as well. You can see all sorts of things that Moon Equipment offers. You can buy online. You can contact. It gives you contact for the store. A lot of great history about Moon. You put out that magazine, Moon Illustrated, every year, and you always show something in history. I even saw a picture of you and Shige with dark hair.
Yeah, that was about 30-some years ago.
Yeah, that's about the time I met you guys. Well, I met Shige first. I met you
Right.
later on, but that was just before Shige and you acquired Moon Equipment.
Yeah, that was 84.
Yeah.
Hey, is that a Hawthorne, Zach Hawthorne's Chevy next to your car?
You know, I don't know whose Chevy that was. I never found the guy. That was we were just one of the hundreds of cars that were parked there. We took over the restaurant and the little strip mall next door. Plus, your lot was jammed full of cars and a couple of nice bikes as well. And it was a waiting line to get to the counter to buy things. You were doing a tax-free day, which was great.
Yeah, we did do that. Mm-hmm.
But all sorts of things, jackets, traditional Moon equipment, the patches, the stickers, you name it, it's available there at Moon Eyes in Santa Fe Springs. The shop is there. Some great cars. You even had the original Moonbeam as well as your car you're taking to Bonneville this year.
Right. My car, a modified Roadster, running a 180 cubic inch engine, shooting for 232 miles an hour.
Now, when you say 100, what kind of an engine is that?
It's a small block Chevy, but it's bored down to 3.48 inch with the 2.4 stroke.
That's hardly anything. That's Briggs and Stratton extension or connecting rods. I mean, that's a really short stroke on that thing.
Right, yeah. I shift that to 8,500 RPM.
Wow.
Well, I hope you get some video of that. We'd love to show some video and see that after you make your first record or your first run.
Yeah.
All right, Chico, thank you very much for calling in. Thanks again for having that open house and letting me get down there. And we'll talk to you again soon, as always. And, I'm thinking about going back to Japan again this year.
All right.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you,
Thanks for
Chico. Let's take a quick commercial break, and when we return, it's time to go way old school with Geezer Gassers. Let's see if we can spot the Moon Eyes equipment on these cars. Stay tuned, Speed Scene Live.
At Aeromotive, we believe that performance means reliability, longevity, and durability. Being the best is no secret. By utilizing aerospace processes, procedures, technology, in-house engineering, true applications knowledge, and 3 generations of track experience, it's easy to see why we're the best. We take great pride in the fact that everything we sell, we design and make in the USA. See our entire line of fuel pumps and related products by logging on to aeromotiveinc.com. Aeromotive. We know it, we race it, we live it.
60 years. That's a long time for a company to do any one thing. Doing it right while sticking to your founding values. Now that takes hard work and dedication. For 60 years, Hedman's all-American workforce has been devoted to manufacturing the very best headers any team of craftsmen can build. That's 60 years of cutting, 60 years of bending, 60 years of welding, more than 2 million in all. And every set made right here at home. At Hedman Headers, we build all American horsepower, then back it up for life. Hedman Headers, made in the USA.
Hi, I'm Chico from Moon Eyes. I get gas on the speed scene.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online drag racing TV show. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and thefote.com.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live. I'm Diana-Mite. We've got Scott Lucky Hudson here to my left, Bob Beck to the left of him, and Bruce Barker back there handling all the controls. Well, you know, we need to put a little action in tonight. Get a little coffee and Lucky, and God knows what we're going to put under Bob and Bruce's seat to get some action. But I'll figure out something, guys.
I got one of those long Bic lighters for the barbecue. I'm going to reach that under Bob's seat right there.
Let me get my camcorder running. I want to.
You know what? We're going to go all the way from Southern California to the Moon Eye Shop, all the way back east to the home of the Geezer Gassers. The Geezer Gassers are one of those organizations that puts on a great show, wonderful people, fantastic period-correct automobiles, and Diana-Mite.
Beautiful cars.
Beautiful. You got one of the best hanging on the phone.
I do. Let's go to line 2 and welcome Chuck Lipka. Chuck, welcome to Speed Scene Live.
Thanks. Nice to be here.
Chuck, it's great to have you on the show. Now, we got some great photos courtesy of Martin Libhart Photography, and you guys have pretty much captured the essence of old school gasser racing.
Yeah.
We're looking at like right now we've got the Haymaker, pickup truck, front end in the air. You guys really capture that essence.
Yeah, we've been doing this now for I think this is our 15th year, and it started out to be a recreation of what was back in the day, and to try to keep it period correct. And through the course of the years, we've had good as well as bad press about it, because some people figured that, well, maybe their 60 Chevrolet Biscayne with a straight axle should be a gasser. No, it's not. I mean, we've been hard and fast on the rules about the cars that are accepted for the group, simply because we want to maintain the integrity of the program and of the group.
So what is that? What is the cutoff on your type of vehicle?
Well, we started with 1952, and then in this past year, we've expanded it. We're now up to include anything up to and including 1957. So the Tri-5 Chevrolets, the earlier Fords, all kinds of stuff. Anything that falls into that 1957 year cutoff.
Now those cars, although they raced gasser at the time, not all of those had a straight axle. Are you requiring that?
We are specifically requiring that, just because when you say gasser, the rank and file spectator thinks, oh, straight axle car, it's got its nose up in the air, it's got a couple inches of tire that sticks out past the rear fender. Mm-hmm. So that was the look that everybody thought of back in the day, and I can put myself in that same mindset. It's got to have a straight axle. And when I say straight axle, I'm talking about a dump truck front end, if you will, where it's either a beam or it's a tube, and it can have a drop in it. It does not have to specifically be straight, as opposed to independent front suspension.
Okay. Now, the gassers evolved over the years, and of course, when they first came out, every year they got a little different. You guys are a snapshot of one period in time that people associate with, and you know, I know you have a website that explains a lot of your details, but I don't want people to get the idea that you're all about, you know, we've got to be serious and we got to have this a certain way. You do have rules and you follow the rules, but you guys have a lot of fun when you race.
Yeah, it started out to be our own little independent protest for the current rage of bracket racing, and it always was a fun time, always intended to be family and good time directed, and we've just maintained that kind of mindset. There's very little, if any, serious competition between anybody, but that's not to say that there's not some grudge racing or a $20 bill between racers, you know, in the pit area.
All right, now what you're running an index category for the different classes, correct? Or are you running?
Yeah, we've had such a wide variety of cars enter into the group over the years that there was just no way you could do a heads-up thing, and as close as we could come to it is half-second brake indexes, starting at 950 through 1150.
Oh, okay. So that opens it up quite a bit because 1150 doesn't have to be a real expensive car to run that number.
No, it really doesn't. I mean, you can get into this, and that's part of the other reason that we included this year of manufacture change up to 57. That you don't have to go out and drop, major bucks on a Willys Coupe or an Anglia or whatever. I mean, you can show up with a 54 Chevrolet that's maybe you've got $12,000, $15,000, $18,000 in it and have a good time with it.
Now, Chuck, what is your website for people that would like to find out more about the Geezer Gassers?
All right, it's all one word, geezergassers.com.
Go ahead and spell that for us.
G like in George, E-E, Z like in zebra, ERGASSERS.com.
Cool website, too. We've got it up on screen right now for you.
Thanks.
Yeah, Chuck, you guys, not only are you guys well schooled in racing, not only do you put on a great show, but you have the ability to kind of get the crowd going. A lot of times you go to racetracks and people are sitting in the stands and they're watching race cars go down and they're having a good time. But when the Geezer Gassers roll up, everybody suddenly kind of moves to the edge of their seat or lines up against the fence. And, you get everyone's attention. They love the cars. They love the look. It really doesn't matter how fast you are. It just matters how good you look while you're going fast.
That's it, yeah.
And you guys look really good. And right here, Bruce, go back to that last blue photo there. That's it. No, the next one. That one.
Go.
There's your shot right there of your gasser. Beautiful.
The money shot, baby.
The money shot. You got you're doing a burnout. Your car's looking like it's just setting pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what people really like. You kind of strike a chord with people where they look at that and they say, you know what, darn it, that's drag racing.
Yeah. There was 2 years that I laid out between the retiring of the original car and the new car coming online, and I did my own little independent research and watched spectators and other racers' reactions. And typically what you would get is the cars come to the line, people will watch the burnouts in the water box, they'd watch the cars stage and launch, watch for a wheels up launch. The cars would get about halfway down the track, and unless you were a dyed-in-the-wool serious drag racer that wanted to pull for an individual or a car or a powertrain combination, they'd get to the 8th mile and their head would turn back and they'd watch the next pair of cars. It has to do, I think, with just watching to see the action. Down-track action is so far away from them, they want to see what's up close and personal.
I think so, too. And now if there's a track out there listening to the show, you guys are available if they'd like to book you in. Obviously, there's some geographical considerations, but they can contact you at the geezergassers.com website and talk to you about bringing the show in. In fact, you're going to be at Norwalk for the Blue Suede Cruise show.
Yeah, I spent the day today packing the motorhome and the trailer, and we're hooked up, ready to go. Got a couple of things to throw in the coach motorhome in the morning, and we're headed out for Blue Suede Cruise at Norwalk.
And that's going to be July 18th through the 20th, I think. And that's going to be at Summit Motorsports Park, the most beautiful racetrack in the world, Norwalk,
and the
Ohio.
dollar ice cream racetrack, right, Lucky?
That's right. That's right.
$1 a pound.
Yep.
Hey, everyone goes for the ice cream. Me, I go for the French fries because they have the best French fries, like my mom used to make them before people all got concerned about heart attacks.
Frying and lard, Lucky? Is that what you were talking about?
Now, Chuck, your association is now currently sponsored by Haggerty Insurance, among other people. And we've mentioned Haggerty Insurance quite a few times. Bruce mentioned he uses Haggerty for his antique cars, which is, I think he's got about 150 Ford Mustangs.
Yeah, and an Itzel pickup.
Yeah, there's a Haggerty Insurance agency that goes to Hawaii twice a year, thanks to Bruce. And we've got some photos right here of this beautiful Willys.
Chevy.
This is it a Chevy?
Yeah, it's a Chevy.
Well, this
With the
is
wheels up.
This is Randy. Randy has a couple cars. He's got. Well, but why don't you tell us, Chuck? What kind of cars does Randy have?
Randy has two 1937 Chevrolet coupes. One is normal or naturally aspirated with carburetors. The second one has just been online for 3 years. It's a blown carbureted. I think it's a 355 Chevrolet.
Wow.
The cars were on gasoline, and through the course of the year, this past winter, late winter into the spring, he converted them over to alcohol. And I don't know which picture you've got, but there's one that of the
he's
blower
doing a
car.
wheelie. Yeah.
We've got the wheels up in the air, all four of them.
I could
All
walk
right, that's-
underneath the car.
Yeah, that was the one that that ended the expedition of that particular car for the weekend. It had all four wheels off the ground, and you can see the sparks coming out from behind it, where it was dragging the parachute bracket. It came down, went right back up a second time, and as it came down, I believe probably the first into the second wheel stand, that's when the front suspension went to hell. And there were pieces and parts flying out from underneath the hood, and fortunately the driver was able to maintain control. He got off of the track, and it came back, and it sat for the remainder of the weekend in the pit area because there was just such a catastrophic amount of damage to the front end.
Wow.
Well, we got to credit Martin Libhart for this photo because he did a great shot at capturing it just at the right moment. However, that same car got pulled out of a trailer after a front tire blowout, and I think Bruce might have some after photos of those cars after they came out of the trailer. And unfortunately, Randy had a blowout in the right front tire of his rig, and it sucked him off the road into the shoulder, and he wasn't able to get correct it or get it back or whatever, and ended up wrecking the rig with the two cars inside the trailer.
Right.
So sad.
And luckily he was okay, but unfortunately,
Randy and his wife Jana come out of it fine. The toter home had a little damage. They're talking to Renegade about having it repaired. The trailer really took the brunt of the accident, and the two cars inside, they were just all beat around on the inside, and it looked like what happened as we started unloading things 2 weeks after the fact. The way he had the cars tied down by using a formed steel connected to ratchet straps, and then the E-track. It looked like that this formed steel piece that he was using as part of the tie down gave way, and it let the cars come loose. When the trailer rolled on its side, they both rolled onto the right side. Both of them sustained pretty extensive damage into the roof and the quarter panels, and then of course there's some fiberglass damage as a result of the laying on their side. Fortunately, it looks like the powertrains and the suspension, other than the blower car that already had suspension problems, looked like everything else came out of it okay. So the cars are well on the way to being repaired. In fact, they're talking. I talked with him earlier today. It looks like they're going to paint the one car tomorrow, and then they're going to start on the second one.
Wow. So they made some progress. That's good.
Wow,
How long ago did this happen?
It's 30 days, and that leads into my dissertation about where things are and what you as a racer needs to look at. And I'll use Hagerty. Let me preface this. I'm not an insurance agent. I don't have certification to sell insurance. I have no connection with any insurance company anywhere other than Hagerty and them sponsoring us. Now, what's happened is Randy's rig was the trailer and the toter home was insured by one of the major normal insurance companies that everybody uses through their their lifestyle of every day. And he is now in his 30th or 32nd day, and they are still trying to come to some kind of a settlement on what to do with the trailer, how soon it's going to get done, just all of the ramifications that goes with it. And it looks to me like, and I have to put a disclaimer on this. It looks to me like you as a racer, me as a racer, any of us as racers, if you're going to look at this kind of stuff, and you're going to participate, you need to protect your investment. And if it means dealing with Hagerty, hopefully, buy your insurance to cover your rig as well as its contents, as well as the cars themselves.
Yeah, because Chuck, guys like me, it took me years to fix up my car. I bought it for $1,500. I spent a couple of years welding on it, did all the paint thanks to my friend Mo Wilson. And, if that all disappeared tonight, I couldn't just go out and buy it tomorrow. I don't have the money. So I have to cover it. And luckily, a company like Hagerty is a great place to go to, because they're a company that's been around for a long time. They've got a good track record, and people know that they can depend on them. These cars are very important to us gearheads, and you need to have them protected.
I don't think there's a guy out there that's going to write a check for six figures for a rig and the spares and the race car and everything that goes with it. You just can't do it. And if you have a catastrophic loss like this thing that Randy is dealing with now, how could you as a racer, like most of us working off of a budget every month, how could you afford to get back in it? I mean, you're done. Not only are you done with your racing, but everything that you've got tied up in that endeavor, it's gone. And why would you want to jeopardize your investment if it means that much to you that you're doing it by not insuring it? Hell, for the price of a set of slicks, you can have basic coverage. And what you have to remember here is I'm talking about physical damage loss. I'm not talking about liability. That's a different story completely. I'm talking about covering your investment.
That's right. Now, we've got on the line here, on one of the other lines, we've got Martin Libhart. Bruce, can you bring Martin up? Martin, welcome to Speed Scene Live.
Hey, thanks, Scott. Good to be with you guys.
Hey, it's a pleasure to have you. You're on the phone with us and with Chuck from the Geezer Gassers, and we were just showing some of those photos from the crash, and of course we were talking about your photos of the event. And I know a guy like you, a car buff like you, it's tough to see those nice cars after they get pulled out of the trailer and they're all crunched.
Oh, it really is. And, it's tough when you're at an event, too, and you witness an accident, and every photographer deals with that differently. I rarely rush to photograph an accident. I mean, unless it's right there at launch or at the starting line. I mean, I just don't like to do that, and, I just have that empathy for the driver and the owner. And
I feel the same way. I was videotaping Ron Capps in a funny car, and he blew the blower belt, and he went over to the side and hit the wall, and every photographer was clicking away, and I had my video camera, and I put it down and went, oh, is he okay? And I stopped filming. And, tragedy does occur. We all wear the fire suits, the helmets, the seat belts to protect ourselves in case of an event like this. But, we do have to be protected. And but I wanted to ask you a little bit about your photography, because you do such a great job.
Well, thank you. You referred to that one shot at Chuck's car as the money shot. I'm still waiting on some of that money. I haven't learned how that works yet, and I figured I could say that with Chuck on the air because he can't, use any bad words or anything.
Well, you know what they say. You know what they say about drag racing. You want $1 million in drag racing, you better start with two.
Yep, exactly. As Don Ewald would say, we did it for love. We do it for love, and that's about it.
That's right. But you do show a lot of love in your photography, and you do a great job with the Geezer Gassers. And, what's your experience like shooting these great cars?
Oh, it's just great. And, I'll just tell you a quick story about my relationship with Chuck and his group. I've gone to the reunion in Bowling Green for years. I mean, I've only missed a couple of them, and I always loved that group. And my love for Gassers goes clear back to when I was 12 years old. I had a chance right here in Wichita, Kansas, to go see a 4-car match race back in the Gasser Wars days. They were going across country, and on a Tuesday night, we went and saw Big John Mazmanian, Ohio George Montgomery, Stone Woods and Cook, and Junior Thompson in a 4-car match race.
Wow.
Stone Woods and Cook didn't show because they were in another one of their big feuds with, Mazamanian. So the local track got a local gasser to fill in, and he darn near beat Mazamanian. But looking back on it, I think it was kind of like a bracker race, and at the last minute, he slowed down because he knew it wasn't going to be good if he beat John Mazamanian at this match race. But that's where my love of gassers came. And the thing I liked about the geezer gassers every time I saw them was they truly are period correct gassers. I mean, they look like the cars looked back in the gasser war days, and I just love them. So, after I retired and decided to really get serious about nostalgia drag racing and photography, I just sent Chuck Lipp a letter and asked if they had any interest in a photographer. Could I help them? Blah blah blah. Not even knowing if I'd ever hear anything back. About a week later, I get a phone call, and it's Chuck, and he's pretty hesitant on the phone. Which is not his normal characteristic, but he was pretty hesitant because, he didn't know me from Adam, and he started out by saying, well, let me ask you this. We want to do some hero cars. Do you do that? And I said, well, yeah, I can do that, and came up with a concept. He really liked it. I think we printed 500 of them that first time, and 3.5 years later, I'm still with him, and I just love every race that I can shoot for him and be with him. Great group of guys and a great array of cars that are all period correct, and as Chuck has said before, that's one of the requirements to even be a member.
Martin, do you have a favorite photo from the group?
Boy, I have several, and knowing that some of the group's probably listening tonight, I'm just going to play the ultimate politician and just say they're all great. We love the wheel stands. That shot of Randy's car is it is an awesome photo, but I also know what happened to the car during that shot because I was back in the pits. In fact, I didn't even have to go back to the pits. The minute I finished taking the photos and spun around to watch him go down track, there were coil springs rolling across the track already and everything else. So I knew what had happened, and that made it hard. I love the photo, but at the same time, I know what happened to the car, and of course, that was even before what happened 2 or 3 days later when they had the hauler accident. So, but I have a lot of favorite photos. I love. I hate shooting at night. That's very difficult. I love the good daylight photos that you get at the reunions, and these guys just put on a great show. They run a totally different range of indexes because of the type of cars and motor sizes and all that. But every one of them puts on a good show, has some good smoky burnouts, and it just looks like I remember when I went to that match race back in the 60s.
Hey, Chuck, let me ask you a question. Does Martin hang out with the geezer gassers, in the evening after the race to kind of get some insight on the drivers, or is he just there for the barbecue?
The pork chops. I think the pork chops.
Can I answer that first?
Yeah, you've done enough talking. Let Chuck do some talking here.
He has an open invitation to come join us at any point in time through the course of the day or in the evening after things are shut down. Typically what happens, he's working his tail off all day shooting pictures, and he'll come by late in the afternoon, early evening, and he's got X number of pictures that need to be edited and chopped up and made up, and so he can be ready to go the next day. Now, if we're involved in the infamous pork chop cookout, he's there and feeding his face like the rest of us. So that's okay. That's all right. He knows he's got an open invitation to come and approach anybody in the group. And now that he has been with us for a while, I think the guys have kind of warmed to him and are a lot more open about sharing their feelings and their ups and downs, if you will. But he does a good job, and some of his artistic work with the stuff he does. I don't know if you guys remember Hot Rod Magazine back in the day when it used green pages and orange pages in the center of the magazine. I've seen some of Martin's work done in that same vein, and it's outstanding.
Cool. Chuck, the first time I got to see your group was back at IRP a number of years ago. How many tracks do you guys race at?
Well, at one point in time, and this goes back, 5-6 years ago, we were doing as many as 14, 15, 16 events a year.
Wow.
And we'd start in mid-April, and we were finished typically early to mid-October. And me being the coordinator, I have this obligation to be at every one of them. And what we would do when we'd have an event, and I'll use NHRA and Good Guys because we were most closely connected with them. It was a wide open field. Bring as many cars as you got. Some of the other tracks, they would want 4, they'd want 6, they'd want 8, whatever they were willing to pay for. And the track operator and or the promoter would look at the website. They would pick the cars that they would like to see, and those are typically the cars that would show up. I'd put the word out to everybody, hey, this is what he wants, and who wants to go, and after I'd have the names and the cars connected or collected up, then I would tell the promoter, here's what I've got, which ones do you want? And that's how it worked.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for calling in. It's been a pleasure to talk to both of you. Chuck, the Geezer Gassers at geezergassers.com, and, of course, Martin Libhart from Martin Libhart Photography. You can go to mlibhart.com. Is that correct, Martin?
That's correct.
Okay, and you can check out some more of this great footage, great photos. You guys are doing a great job. I always look forward to seeing you at any track that you guys are putting on a show, and I look forward to seeing you at the next one.
And Chuck, this is Diana-Mite. I want to say a special thanks to your wife for turning me on to that book she was reading last time I ran into her. Tell her I happened to pick up all 3 and read the series twice, and greatly appreciate it.
Well, good. I'll pass the word to her.
You do that.
Thanks again, you guys. We're going to take
thank you. Chuck, see you on Thursday.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Jerry Cumry. We're going to find out all about a great race coming up at the NHRA Divisional. Be back in a flash.
For over half a century, Curry rear-end components have been twisting out the torque and taking the punishment. And the new Curry lineup is stronger than ever. Some of the world's most capable, hardest-working vehicles depend on Curry gears, which is why you can too. Street cars, hot rods and resto rods, drag cars, rock-crawling four-wheel drive vehicles, whatever you're piloting, Curry expertise and rock-solid design means the parts will do their job, so you can do yours. Check out Curry's custom rear ends, featuring a full line of upgrades, components, and installation options. The Curry Crate rear ends lineup offers ultra-strong construction on third members and carrier assemblies. And other underside parts, like correct link steering systems, keep your four-wheeler pointed where you want it. Add in a wide variety of solid, purpose-built suspension and brake components, and you've got one tough, ready-to-go machine. Grab a hold of a Curry rear end. Talk to the experts at 714-367-2679 or view the complete line online at curryenterprises.com. Everyone in the armed forces that has served to defend our great country and our freedom, all of us here in the United States of America would like to offer our sincere appreciation for all that you do and all that you've done. To every family that has made a sacrifice for us, we thank you.
M&H Tires, makers of racing tires that give you the best bite for the buck. You've paid a lot for that horsepower. Make sure you use it all. M&H Tires has the best compounds available for maximum traction. Go to mandhtires.com. That's mandhtires.com. Buy direct and save at the website and mention the Speed Scene for a 5% discount. That's right, mandhtires.com. Call them at 661-324-4773. M&H Tires has tech guys ready to answer your questions or to recommend the best tire for you. Slicks, or DOT. M&H Tires has it all. M&H were the first to create racing tires for muscle cars and also the first to create racing tires for sport compact cars. Legendary M&H Tires. Shop online, mention the Speed Scene, and save 5%. Get the best racing tires, great personal service, and save 5%. Go to mandhtires.com or call them at 661-324-4773. MNHTires.com.
Hi, I'm Robert Overholster, driver of the California Hustler, and you're watching Speed Scene Live.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online drag racing TV show. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and thefote.com.
Welcome back to the show, Speed Scene Live. My name is Lucky. I've got Diana-Mite over here, and she never stumbles over her words.
Just a little lucky.
Bruce Barker, Hot Rod Bob Beck, and Bob was talking to Moon Eyes, and we were talking about pinstriping and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be an East meets West event happening
Wow.
July 26th.
Where at, Lucky?
Well, it's going to be happening at the 8-Ball event, and that's going to be at the Burbank, right on Magnolia. You can go to 8ballwebstore.com and get more info. If you want to show up and get your car pinstriped, if you want to get your lunchbox pinstriped,
Don't they
your
have,
electric
like, some
guitar.
tattoo
Well,
stuff and all that
yeah.
good
But
stuff?
this is more about the pinstriping.
Oh, okay.
And this is they're gonna have famous pinstripe artists from Japan, which I'm sure Chico would probably know, and famous pinstripers from America. They're gonna bring them together and have an international event, just like Moon Eye. So that's gonna be July 26th at 4:00. Go to 8ballwebstore.com for more info. Now we got on the phone one of my favorite drivers out there, Jerry Cumry. Jerry, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm trying to get you on and get you going, and we went a little long with the Geezer Gassers, but it's so fun to talk to those guys about those old school cars.
Oh, I agree 1,000,000%. I mean, well, you and I were both in Bowling Green and got to see them, and that's a kick of a show, man. That is as old school as it gets.
Now, you were at Bowling Green and you were racing, but tonight you're going to talk about an event happening at Sonoma. And this is an event that is a memorial for a great racer that's been a big part of your class. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, what we're doing is we were fortunate enough to get with Georgia Seipel, the track manager at Sonoma Raceway, and we also got with Mike Rice, the Division 7 director, and basically presented to them that we'd like to be part of the divisional event at Sonoma Raceway this coming weekend, and it's been in the works, in all honesty, since about the March meet. But we got with them, and we told them that what we're trying to do is do a tribute, a memorial to John Shoemaker, who, like you said, meant a lot to a lot of people in this class as well as many others. But with permission of his wife, Judy, who's actually going to come out this weekend, we are going to run the Nostalgia A Fuel John Shoemaker Memorial Shootout. We're going to have hopefully 8 cars. I got one on the fence, but we got 7 for sure. We're going to do a Chicago-style event as a tribute to John, who was, one of the early pioneers of Pro Comp, was actually one of the first people to run a 6 in the Pro Comp class. And Nostalgia A Fuel is kind of a throwback to Pro Comp, so it just seemed really like the right way and the right time and the right, opportunity to do something.
And what's Chicago style, for those that don't know?
Chicago style basically is where it's random pairings. And in our case, they're giving us 5 runs. So we're going to do 4 random pairings, and we're actually going to take the best average. And the 2 best averages will run for the final. And Redline Oil stepped up just this week, and I can't thank them enough, where they're going to do a $500 gift certificate to the winner of the event for Redline products. So that was really, really great. I got to thank Cameron Evans specifically for stepping up, but the whole group at Redline, when I told them what was going on, even though it was kind of a last-minute thing, they jumped right in, and it was really, really great.
Now, this is a neat idea to bring nostalgia front-engine dragsters to an NHRA divisional, and it's something new and different, and I think it's something that people are going to really enjoy watching.
That's part of it as well, and that's, to be honest, that's the plan, is to, give them a little bit of a different flavor, being that at this event they don't run the top alcohol dragsters and funny cars. So it's kind of a way to, they'll have some great classes with, top dragster and top sportsman and that. But I think when the folks that do come out, and even some of the racers, when they see some of the side-by-side low 6-second, injected nitro versus blown alcohol combinations, that's the plan, is to get some eyeballs on something that they may have not seen before, maybe get some fans to come out to more of the other events that are run, and really just use the NHRA forum at a division to kind of enhance what I feel is a really good group of racers is doing. I mean, our class is growing, and we've got more cars. I mean, I got a call today, and, we're literally looking at 16 or more for this year's reunion, and, we haven't had more than, I think, 12 in the last couple years. So the growth of the class and being able to do something like this at the same time that the class is growing is really, really great.
Now, for people that are not familiar with the A-Fuel concept, give us a short idea of what's an A-Fuel dragster.
A-Fuel basically is you have the option of running either blown alcohol or injected nitro. We're limited by tire size, which is 14 inches. We're limited on fuel pump, which the blown alcohol gets a specific size fuel pump. The injected nitro gets a specific size fuel pump. They have to be flowed and tagged. The blown cars can only run a 671 blower, maximum cubic inches of 550, and a minimum weight of 1875. So you have a rules package that really keeps the cars very similar. I mean, even with the different combinations and chassis and ideas and everything else that goes on, you really, when we've got full fields running, which we have all year, you have qualifying from the 620s to about the 660s. So, I mean, it's kind of like as tight as about pro stock in certain aspects, but with, blown alcohol and injected nitro cars. Front motor dragsters, altered, and we're actually going to petition to bring in funny cars under the same rules package, maybe some modifications to make it work, but that's something that's on the table, is maybe even having funny cars and really make it like the old days of Pro Comp.
It's a fun class to watch, and it's really exciting. To me, it kind of makes me think of the old-time Top Fuel dragsters.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the nostalgia Top Fuel cars, and as one who drives one, I'm not going to badmouth it by any stretch because it's a great class, but it's changed. And, the way that those cars are running and how fast they're going, it's tough to compete for the average Joe. And A-Fuel is really an opportunity where guys, and we have it on many occasions where we've got a couple guys get together and put their pennies together and, come up with a car. And it's nice because we are allowed 426s and that. So being able to use, you don't have to go out and buy the best of brand new everything. I mean, we have heads on our car, and we run a Brad Anderson combination with really good stuff. But we're using heads that are probably 3 or 4 generations back from what the modern guys are using, but they work great for what we're doing.
Now, do you have any sponsors or anybody that you want to thank? You mentioned Redline Oil. And
yeah, we do actually. We got Enderley Fuel Injection is on board, Sonny Bryant Cranks, DJ Safety Equipment, Prolong Lubricants, and actually because it's a John Shoemaker deal and he had so many dear friends and acquaintances and racers and comrades in the Sacramento area that the Cheetah Nostalgia Top Fuel car is actually putting up some help with it as well, which I can't thank them enough. They basically did it out of friendship. So we've got, a couple supporters behind it. And again, can't thank the track and NHRA, Mike Rice at Division 7 enough for giving this opportunity to get our cars out in front of a different crowd.
Yeah, that's a neat deal, and it's great that you're involved in it. And, I can't help but wonder if this is sort of a win-win deal where they get people to come out to their, a reason for people to come out to their race, but you also get an opportunity to expose nostalgia drag racing to the people that are involved in the super classes or the stock or the super stock or all the different classes, that might look at it and just say, wow, that was really cool. Maybe I should go to the next nostalgia event.
Yeah, and that's part of it, and that's kind of was my pitch to Mike was, if it helps get some attendance to, the race at Sonoma, that's a plus right there. If we can help with that, I think we put on a good show that's going to help the overall scope of what's going on. But I think that's the other part is because obviously the following weekend is the national event, and they do have Sonoma's great about it. They actually bring out a bunch of cars. They do a corral type thing that they do at a lot of national events. So they'll actually have a lot of nostalgia cars out there. So it's a nice kind of, you got a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then you've got the national event with some of the cars that are actually running with us are going to stay over and display their cars. And, and try and build to, like you said, maybe get more people to come to the reunion or to some of the other events that we have just because they get interested. And it's like, wow, this is, especially for folks 40s, 50s plus, or like, this is what it was when I was a kid. This is the racing that I watched. Where can I go see more?
Nice. Well, Jerry, thanks so much for calling in. Sounds like a great deal. We want to thank Nitro America for providing that video. Great video. Looks fantastic. And as always, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I look forward to seeing you at the next race.
Thanks, Lucky. I appreciate it. It's really, thank you again for giving me the time, and thank you personally for your friendship and the support. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon as well.
Sounds great. Anytime. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Thanks.
Well, it's a great event. Now, Diana-Mite, there must be a couple other events going on that you want to mention.
Lucky, and we're at the top of the hour, so we want to let everybody know that what's going on. It's brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, as well as Hedman Hustler Headers and Aeromotive. We want to let everybody know that. What do we have here? July 18th, the NDRL Nostalgia Drag Racing League will be racing at Blue Suede Cruise at Summit Motorsport. And who's going to be there? The Geezer Gassers.
Nice.
Well, what do you know?
Nice. Hey, August 2nd, the West Coast Diesel Shootout will be going on at Spokane, Washington.
August 15th, 16th, Industrial Injections Rocky Mountain Shootout at Salt Lake City, Utah track.
Well, and we can go into some more next week. We'll tell you more of the events happening all over the country. And Labor Day weekend's coming up, Yellow Bullet Nationals, Hillbilly Arm Drop Drags, a lot of stuff going on.
And Thursday nights at Irwindale Still Bob?
Thursday night, yeah, I'll be there Thursday night. Then Friday morning, I got to leave for Ben Axel's in where is that? Near Santa Maria. I got to head up there Friday.
So what's that, a car show up there?
A car show. They block off the streets of Old Town Orcutt.
That should be fun.
Nice.
And Bruce, you got any car shows you're going to? Anything fun, or are you just going to work yourself to death?
You're going to put them on the spot like that, are you?
Well, I don't know. I'm pushing really hard to get this Lincoln at least running. It's not, it's not finished in any sense, but it just got out of the exhaust shop today, a 58 Lincoln convertible.
Good.
And but I've never started it. The engine rebuilder forgot to put the timing pointer back on the front of the motor, and so it's hope and guess and crank it and see what blows up.
Well, this event here in Burbank, it's going to be nice and local for you. You could drive your car down there, maybe get a nice little pinstriping job on it or something.
Well, there you go. And a cruise night in Glendale is this Saturday, so we'll see. We'll see if I blow it up. We'll see if it makes it.
Sounds good. Get top dead center.
Yep.
Make your own timing mark.
That's right. Don't stay home. Go out. Have fun. Take your cars out of the garage. Dust them off. Go to a car show. Go to a race. Do something, but get out of the house.
That's right. Words of wisdom from Diana-Mite. And when she talks, people listen.
They better.
Just like E.F. Hutton. Wow, that's going back a little bit, and all of us remember it.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, I think it was John Houseman who did the commercials, and he was this guy who would go, when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Hey, we're out of time. The Encore show is next.
We'll be back next week. We got a great show off-road next week, so tune in and get dirty.
There we go.
Ooh, that'll be fun. Bob, good to see you. And the Diana-Mite, Lucky Hudson, the whole crew. Hey, we'll be back live, of course, next week, as Lucky just mentioned. But, of course, right now, the Encore presentation of tonight's show. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online motorsports TV show. Brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFoe.com.